Hello there everyone, and welcome back to The Closet Historian and back to another episode of Cataloging Catalogs, though once again today we are looking at a pattern book, this time from Butterick. And my goodness, the cover of this one. First of all, we have like an 1860s fashion plate in the background of this 1940s fashion plate, essentially fashion photograph here. And we have this excellent sort of military-inspired little cropped or like waist-length jacket with an exceptional hat. I think we can all agree. And with her black and red ensemble here, she does have, this is a green hat with the red feathers and the chartreuse ribbon. It's just divine, honestly, and that's that on that. So this is Butterick pattern book from winter 1943 and 44. This originally was 35 cents. It has Christmas gift suggestions and a free mitten pattern, everyone, so get excited. And the seller where I picked up this magazine actually did include a little Butterick fashion news insert as well. This one is from January 1950, so I thought we could take a look at that today too, and check out this Butterick pattern book because there are some absolutely exceptional designs in this one that I'm very excited to dive into the future. So opening up here on our table of contents, we already have a couple of designs that are cut to conserve a dress from less than 3 yards. Probably get away with using almost 2 yards now just because the fabric is wider. But we have some fun stuff going on here. So this is like almost a normal pencil skirt here. I bet you there is a waist seam and this is a yoke, but I would have to look at the pattern, look up the pattern number to check. But this bodice modification here, very simple. You can see there, well, you probably can't see, but I can see that there are no darts here because the dart has been used as gathering up in the shoulder instead. Very easy to do. You just close the waist and side darts, and actually maybe they're indicating that there still is a side dart there. So at least close one of the darts and then open that up into the shoulder, just swing that from the apex, open that up there, and then use it as gathering into the shoulder seam. And so that's a very simple modification to make. This is a 3/4 sleeve with this one here. Very cute little toy hat she has on as well. And don't we love a toy hat? Huge handbag for evening though. And she is wearing a brooch or a dress clip right on the edge of her neckline. That'd be a good way to wear a dress clip here. And speaking of dress clips, it does seem down here that we perhaps have one right here over the gathering in the center of this sweetheart neckline down here on this style. This again, a very simple modification to make to the basic bodice block because one of our darts has been used up here for this gathering probably, or it could have been added actually just separately. It depends on how they were modifying this. But this again has the fullness for the shaping moved up into the shoulder, this time on the yoke as opposed to in the main body of the garment. But again, not too difficult to get around this one. These both do have like rather straight skirts as well. And this one has the skirt separated into gores for the shaping, but these both seem to have a center front seam. And perhaps were cut on the bias, I'm not sure. This one here, this has just been separated into a shoulder princess seam here. That's where our darts have disappeared to on this particular design. So up here, well here, it's been separated into these gored skirt pieces, but up here, the darts are still in here. It's like as if you imagine from the apex you have a shoulder dart and a waist dart and you just draw a line right through them. That's how you end up with a princess seam like this. So again, we'll be covering princess seams this year. I have covered it on the channel before in a couple of videos, including my Luke Skywalker dress video if you've never seen that one. I covered a little bit in my vest making or waistcoat making video, but I will be doing a whole video just on princess seams later in the year. Now we have some career girl clothes for busy living. Always love the gals who get to have a career, especially this is of course right after or like during and after wartime kind of ideas here where women were actually allowed to leave the house and have a job. Imagine, wild ideas. Here we have a shirt dress style top of the dress, but the rest looks like it's just a regular dress with a probably side seam on one of these sides here. But this again, one of the waist dart here has been used as a little tuck as opposed to being sewn, and then the other like dart fullness has been put up into a shoulder dart there, so you can see that's where our darts are going. Again, this skirt has been separated into gores, and then they have this triangular flap or pocket here. The novel pockets lend interest to the simple slim skirt. So yes, these are triangle-shaped pockets here in the front. Would be simple enough to do. Add those onto your gores. This dress is a little bit more intense to pattern draft from the basic block, although we do just have some shearing and gathering up into the shoulder again, so again, you can put a little bit of dart fullness up into there. But then the rest of this has been manipulated. So it looks like there's no waist seam here, but this all probably is just extra fullness. Like there's the shaping for the waist darts for the skirt. That fullness has been put into this seam, but then this also has additional fullness put into there as well to create that much gathering. And then obviously the bodice and skirt patterns have been combined to like an all-in-one here as well. But it looks like all the bodice shaping has been put up into the shoulder. And these are actually those dresses that we saw earlier. just paired with some, again, fabulous accessories. So here's our gal with her little scalloped, detailed princess line dress. She seems to have some sort of embellishments or dress clips pinned at that sweetheart neckline now. Sort of a high, curvy sweetheart neckline. But the rest of the accessorizing going on here. We have this luscious fur shawl thing, which you could have a faux fur one, of course. And then long gloves up over the, what these originally was a 3/4 length sleeve, so possibly just over her 3/4 length. Oh no, she has a short sleeve here, but longer sleeve version here. So she's a long glove over that, the bracelet over the glove. Bracelets over gloves, yes. Rings over gloves, no, by the way. And then a small, tilted, little faux, well, in my world, faux fur hat to match her fur. I mean, I'm sure they all prefer real fur back in this time, but we all know I'm a faux fur kind of gal. Again, this is a shirt dress style, very simple dress here with if you imagine again, 2 darts on the bodice. It's pretty standard, that's why you can see it manipulated this often. One of them has been left in the waist and used as gathering. The other is moved up into the shoulder with a yoke and gathered into that yoke. And then this dress again is the same one from that other page. And she's got the same hat on, everything. We've just erased the boyfriend in the background, and why not? And then we have a princess line coat here as well, double-breasted with a very curvy collar. You could get a 1970s coat and wear it with your 1940s tilt hat, and it would look quite similar. Especially with this large curvy collar, double-breasted. Always check thrift shops and consignment stores for winter coats, because you're usually going to get a much better deal on an all-wool coat from like the 70s or 80s than you would be able to get on an all-wool coat now. They're very expensive, but also they are very similar to 1940s styles, especially if you look at some of my other catalog videos. You can see just how boxy and 80s looking a lot of the coats were in the 40s, so you can really get away with making an 80s coat work. Or of course you could sew one yourself if you like working with thick wool, but I wish you good luck. A gracious, slenderizing women's dress of Calsandra, a crepe with a surface interest. Don't all crepes have a surface interest? By Onondaga Silk Company. The color is a deep blue called Volga. Soft, flattering, jabot-like collar, sizes 34 to 46, 50 cents for the pattern. The hat by Walter Florell again, Richelieu pearls, and wear-right gloves. So again, she has her bracelet on over her gloves here, and the gloves cover the hem of the sleeve, something just to note for styling reasons. Then she has a double-strand pearl necklace, and again, an excellent tilt hat. What a great year for hats we have going on here. I want every hat. The hats are harder to come by. I can make a dress. I can't always make these fun hats. Again, this has a shoulder princess seam here. Hardly tell here, probably can tell in the scan better than I can even see it here. Also, I'm just noticing the glove only just comes to the end of these sleeves, so it's barely extending over her sleeve here. But today's matron chooses clothes for efficiency and durability. All right, sure. This, again, is the same gathering up into a yoke up here at the shoulder. This yoke is just pointed, which is a little bit more of a Western sort of style detailing. That was, depending on how much top stitching you use, looks a little bit more Western or less. But here in this plaid fabric, they also have the pointed yoke in the back with gathering up into it. Again, a little bit more of a Western detailing. Although we do have like a kitten ear hat going on here, which is just amazing. I recently got a hat with bows on it that makes you look like a kitten, and I'm very excited about it. And again, we have a fur shawl paired with this. Fur shawls paired with most of these things. It was very fashionable at the time. But this just has, again, a pocket set between the two gored, the center front gore and the side front gore of this skirt. This is probably just a 6 gore skirt. I should probably do a gored skirt here on the channel. It's not terribly difficult to separate a skirt into gores. You're just adding seam lines like through where the dart would be and kind of combining the dart fullness into a gore. Very similar to how like the darts are eliminated using style lines for the princess seam. Same sort of thing for the gored skirt pattern. And then this just has the shirt dress again down the center front styling, which I have shown like how to convert a bodice to have that center front opening here on the channel before. And then this dress here is again very simple. They've just extended like a straight collar, flared it out a little bit, and then had 2 of them that tie in the front and then button down. Like this is not, this looks fancier I think than it would be to do. Look at these colors. Look at these colors together. Oh my god. So fun. It looks like something was stored inside of here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was this, actually. Something like that with like a receipt. And the paper obviously has different acidity, so it has stained this, which is why you don't store, which is why you have to be careful about storing paper, I suppose, is the moral of that story. But these colors, oh, they're so pretty together. Such fantastic hats. How to wear your coats. If you have a fabulous purple coat, however, I mean, come on. Then for all of you who, again, love something without a waist seam, we're about to have a bunch. the beltless silhouette for that slim line look. We have a bunch of dresses here that do not have a traditional, like, just straight across waist seam at the natural waistline. So we have here kind of like a couple of drop waist styles here. This pattern here has the gathering at the side seams, and then the waist kind of dropped and then attached to the center front seamed A-line shaped skirt here, slightly A-lined. Here that's all in one split into gores at the skirt, but again, it's kind of almost a drop waist. The darts have been moved into the side here, and they have like little accents to make them look like arrows, which is quite cute. And this has a covered button shirt dress style in the front. I keep wanting to say shirt waist instead of shirt dress. My brain cannot get it out. This again, the entire dress pattern is separated into like a gored skirt matched up with a princess seamed top. So like everything is just one line from the shoulder down to the hem, and then all this detailing done up here at the top, which would be kind of a hassle. And again, we have quite fabulous hats going on. I wouldn't mind a black hat with red on the inside, or like with chartreuse on the inside. Yummy. But my favorite dress in this entire book is this pattern here. I have to have it. It doesn't have a waist seam, which, you know, usually puts me off, but this sort of corset shaped midriff section, and then this gathered like shawl upper portion. I just love it, especially in red with black like this and the big fur. I love it. So I need to make this one. I have to look up this pattern number 2804 and see if this is cut on the bias through the center or not. This might be something that's cut primarily on the bias, but I'll have to check it out. Especially with something like, I have a rayon twill in my stash that is actually a forest green and navy blue like iridescent fabric, and something like that with a little bit of gathering like this I think would be fabulous. So I really need to look into that. For days and dates, a dress to keep your silhouette silhouette is not easy to say. I don't know how slim I would look, but I would be very happy to wear that dress, that's for sure. And I quite like this one as well. This is that one we were talking about earlier. This is the same dress that we saw here. It's the same dress pattern. They, you know, show you different options in here to convince you, you know, if this didn't convince you to buy this pattern, they're hoping that, ooh, but have you considered it in garnet? But I'm all about 2804 here. This one here is also nice. We have a, again, 3/4 length sleeve here, sort of a simple A-line skirt with a center seam. It's just that this almost has a waist seam. The waist seam has just been dipped down in the front a little bit. We have gathering in the side of this wrap top style. This is a faux wrap. I doubt that it actually is worn as a wrap. Of course, you could always make things a full wrap if you wanted to. And again, it has gathering up into the shoulder once again, something that is just used as a detail quite often. Be-furred and de-furred, collared or collarless. So we have similar suit jackets here, I guess, and sometimes they're collarless like this, or sometimes they have the fold-back collar going on. But this one here has darts at the waist and then they dart up into the shoulder, and this style is more of a princess, a modified princess seam. This one has the shoulder princess again. But mostly I just am inspired by the colors going on here, and the hat and matching leopard print muff, which, again, give me a faux fur version any day, I'm here for it. And these outfits, I mean, come on. It's absolutely fabulous. Inspiring me to wear my hair up more often, honestly. Even though I don't think it looks as nice on me personally, it is quite an elegant look. This, again, is probably a giant fur muff that she has strung onto her arm there. And she has a clutch over here as well. Black gloves with this raspberry suit with the fur collar. Raspberry little bows on her hat. One day I'll learn how to do tailoring and we can make some suits, but I need to take a couple of classes first. Although I do quite like, see this dart up here? In the shoulder dart, they have that sewn, it looks like external, like as a detail, and then I sewed it a little bit curved for that. Yummy. Quick change to glamour for the off-duty beauty now. So we're changing at the end of our war factory work day into something a little bit more glamorous for evening. But these aren't necessarily, you know, cocktail dresses. They're much more almost like dinner or like afternoon dresses. There's not like a ton of hyper glam going on here. This gal has a brooch on her horseshoe neckline dress. This has some paneling here at the waist, pulling the shape in with a bow in the front. That bow is probably decorative, not functional. And then we have the dartfulness as tucks above that waistline seaming. It's interesting too, this 3/4 sleeve is not super fitted, which makes me feel better about a dress I made recently where my 3/4 sleeve was not very fitted. Here we have again a waist dart and a shoulder dart. Of course there's like a peplum sewn on here, but there's a seam there, so that peplum is a little bit separate here. And we have our suit again. That's the same suit from earlier, again with the waist darts and the shoulder dart there. And again, that great leopard set going on. I quite like this one. This one's my favorite of all these. It has the same detailing up on the bodice and the skirt, where the dartfulness is used as tucks and then kind of covered with a bow, or finished with a bow, I suppose. And this would be drafted using a full tracing of the front. We could definitely make this sometime because I quite like it. And I like the feather or faux fur hat with the extra feathers zinging off of it because it's ridiculous and very fun. Army wife or any wife clothes at her service. Again, we have a lovely suit pattern here. Again, this is a princess seam, but with a yoke up here, kind of a little scalloped yoke, and a great big hat going on. There seems to be some sort of flare at the cuff of this, and I'm not even sure if it's on the suit jacket or if it's a fur at the end of the glove. Either way, I like it. This dress, of course, being my favorite here. I like the tilted pillbox she's got going on with this as well, but the neckline is very cute. It's still high, gives me plenty of space to wear my brooches like I like, but it's a little bit more detailed than usual, which is fun. A perfect basic style that you can dress up or down with accessories, quick and easy. So they suggested it's quick and easy. Again, this is just a A-line skirt with a center front seam on this bodice. This would be relatively quick and easy to put together. Although if you're making it out of, like, say, a crepe, it might be a little bit floopy on you, which does add to the difficulty level. And from Santa for the snow. I'm a little late here with my seasonality, but to be fair, I did get this magazine for Christmas, so, you know, what's a gal to do? But here we are, dynamically skiing in our wool separates. To be fair, skiing is not this chic, so if it were, maybe I'd go more often, but we all know my core strength is down, so I don't know if I would recover even skiing when I was a youngin'. I still wasn't in very good shape, and I would have regrets for a week afterwards. But I do like this casual drinking hot cocoa back at the lodge kind of a look here with a wool skirt and almost like a 49er Pendleton kind of boxier plaid jacket here. Of course, here in 43-44, we didn't have our Pendleton 49er yet, but the ideas were still there. And she's got a snood covering the back of her hair here with a mannish kind of loafer going on here. Katharine Hepburn sort of look, but with a hot cocoa, which I appreciate. For a gala season. So smaller accessories to jazz up your stuff. If you can't afford to have a new dress this season, here in the winter of 1943, maybe you can afford a new jabot collar or to make a little handbag or a tie for your husband perhaps, but cute little pillbox hats. And of course, they do have, back in the day, they did have patterns for making gloves. You just will never catch me using them because that sounds fiddly as all hell. And then we are getting into some of the stuff for our homemaker here. Yule tidings for the homemaker. Cute aprons. I like this full, like, dress apron to, like, cover whatever you're wearing. It appeals to me because I'm a messy cook, I suppose. I like the dress that this gal's got on underneath her apron quite a lot, honestly. And then dolls and very cute plushies patterns here. But look, once again, I have my favorite dress of this book. And this time in a, like, dull olive green with a black contrasting corset-y sort of belt and a huge clamshell hat with green jewelry. I have to have it, everyone. I have to have this one. I think it's interesting. You can see here that this one, you can see there are still darts in this side here. So they haven't put all the dartfulness up into this shoulder gathering. Some of it is still here in the side. And then this middle waist section is so fitted. So it's got to be cut on the bias, right? I'm going to look this up right after I make this video so I can start thinking about how I'm going to make this because I need 7 of them, you know? This dress, interesting, this is that one that we keep seeing, this pink, we've seen it earlier. This is very similar to that, only I could do my waist seam on it, so makes me feel a little bit more at home. But similar idea with the skirt here, having almost like a little curved yoke, and then extended gathering into that. Very cute Christmassy accessories going on here. She's got striped Christmassy ribbon on her hat, and then her handbag is made out of the same. This is, again, a dress that we've seen earlier here, too. This would be a very great wardrobe basic if you're into 1940s style. I could just see this styled for both day and evening so easily. We have a big jangly charm bracelet over a red glove, and then like probably a matching red felt hat. But again, you could wear this with like sparkly dress clips and like heels for evening with one of those giant faux furs, and I think it would be just as appropriate for evening. I just really, both these pages here really speak to me for all the holiday parties I didn't have this year. But we have this green dress again. I think this is very similar to something we saw earlier. Again, slightly lowered peaked waistline or like a yoke here. I'm not sure if this one has a waist seam or not. It looks like no, because there's darts on the back. So it's a lowered like, drop waist seam on this. But the top of this is just overlapped with gathering at the shoulder. So it's a faux wrap style again. I love this whatever nonsense feather thing is going on here. Fantastic. This hat is like a medieval court jester hat, but I also quite like this, again, faux wrap style dropped waist sort of dress. I'll have to look into that pattern as well. And this has very fun stuff going on here at the bust. I was actually just experimenting with a pattern like this over on Patreon, so I'll have to look up this pattern number again and see what they're doing to create that shape on this one. We're pushovers for pullovers, if you say so. The pullover goes on an informal date. Try it with rayon and wool blend. So these must be bias cuts so that you can get them over your head without having to have a closure. Bred pullover and wool jersey for burr days. The belted look is smart. Oh, so that must be this one here. Also, yeah, they did have jersey fabric back then. I don't know how to sew with knits. I mean, I say that even though I had a job in a factory sewing knits for a couple of years. But that was like swimsuit fabric. I don't really work with jerseys or stretch fabrics at all. It's just not something I'm familiar with or have a lot of experience with. And so, sadly, do not cover on my channel because I just don't know what I'm doing when it comes to knits. Again, I'd say this sleek number here is my fave. The slender unbelted pullover goes dress up in rayon crepe. Smart surplus closing. So again, this is just a faux wrap style with gathering at the waistline actually. And a drop waist. Bit of a like boxier 3/4 length sleeve. Pretty strong shoulder, and that probably has a shoulder pad built in. 5 and after dresses do brights. And where do I get bright chartreuse rayon crepe of a nice dress weight? I don't know. But if I did, I'd buy 10 yards to have on hand. But again, the accessorizing here too is just too much for me. Like this giant faux fur, well, in my fur boa with that matching hat and the chartreuse over the elbow, like opera length glove. Shut up. This is gathering up into the neckline like I've shown here on the channel before. It's just that the neckline is lower. So easy enough. They still have some darts down here at the waist for shaping as well. A lot of waist seamless designs in this book for all of you who prefer those. But I would, wear this outfit tomorrow if someone would hand it over. Even if I don't like a tiny cap sleeve like that. I like a little bit more sleeve going on. This dress, very easy to do this modification here. This has the basic bodice block separated with a curved yoke here. Then we have a sweetheart neckline for the rest of this, and one of the darts, probably the side dart here, has been shifted into the center front for gathers at the center front. So not terribly difficult to get this pattern, but probably pretty hard to find a fuchsia beaded handbag from the 1940s with a matching hat. Whew, delicious. Then they have the audacity to show me dark green and chartreuse green suiting, which is just almost cruel, honestly. But very cute. I mean, if these came in my size and I didn't have to work for it, I'd buy one of each, Suit dress, enduring fashion day after day, year after year. And these color combinations. The magenta with the chartreuse and the green and black. So delicious. More different skirt and shirt patterns here. A-line skirt with a center front seam, super easy to make. I have an A-line skirt pattern drafting tutorial here on the channel. But this is just add a seam down the front of it instead of cutting it on the fold. Not hard to change. A lot of times there are seams and gores in 1940s fashion, partially because of style, but also because of fabric restrictions and how thin the yardage was in general as well. But we have some pleated skirts going on here, which uses a little bit more fabric. Here we have an entire page on suggestions on how to sew your sleeves in properly. So for all of you who find sleeves to be quite sleevel, hopefully this page will offer some enlightenment. I, of course, will scan this whole book and have it up on Pinterest, and the link for that will be below. And then we have lots of jumper dresses, which I know many of you are quite fond of. They are a little bit collegiate kind of for me. I think it feels a little bit young to me for some reason. I don't know why. Here's our free mitten pattern. I'll make sure to scan this one for y'all if you want to put together some 1943 mittens. We have some maternity wear here in the back, last few pages here. So these are all things that have like an adjustable waist of some kind for the expectant mother. And here's our back cover. You make it, then see how it makes you. This is one of my more favorite designs from this, even though, again, I don't really usually go for a button-down dress. Great colors in this one, and just great styling inspiration, as well as pattern inspiration. And then we have Butterick Fashion News here, our little extra insert from January 1950. So we're jumping ahead several years here to the 1950s, or the cusp of the 1950s. This one is provided to us by the J.L. Hudson Company in Detroit, Michigan. Don't know if they're still around, but thank you for providing us with Butterick Fashion News. We have some double-breasted little jacket thing going on here. This again is extremely similar to that one of the dresses that was in the 1940s book, and then a design that I've been working on recently, so I'll have to look up this pattern number as well. The only difference between this and the 40s one from 1943 is just these little hip flanges they've added onto the... But I have made a dress with this similar fold back going on because I used the same 1950s design to make a Luke Skywalker inspired dress. So again, that will be in a card here for this video. Look alike and love it, mother-daughter dresses here. This is again a princess seam. It's just all the way to the tip of the shoulder and then all the way to the front of the waist here. But they haven't used all of the darts into that seam. They still have a side dart here for some reason. Why, when they could have eliminated it? I don't know. And we have a swimsuit pattern here. Southbound for sun and fun. Head down to Florida, guys. Once again, they've given me chartreuse, which, come on, guys. You know I'm weak. I quite like this design, and I quite like this design. Delicious. These are a little princess 50s for me. I want to look like the evil queen, not the princess, as we know. Class, career, and date clothes to a teen's taste. Imagine when this was a teen's taste. These outfits. This is like a Snow White outfit, but this one's very cute. And this one obviously got the check mark of approval from whoever was looking through this booklet. They wanted the jumper dress. But I'm over here wanting this black suit with the big fur again. Look, I can't help it. A woman's choice at a glance. Soft and casual dresses and a classic suit. This one's quite nice as well. I'll take this and this suit, please. And we have more plushies and more children's wear. Even a shirt for the boys. Just 4 pattern pieces for this top here. A blouse that takes so little time to make. So those were some pattern book resources from the 1940s and 50s from Butterick here. I hope you enjoyed seeing this flip through today and it gave you some inspiration for projects you might want to look into the future. Again, I will have this whole thing, well, I say whole thing, but usually I chicken out and do not scan the children's wear pages. So I'll have most of this, 90% of this, scanned and up on my Pinterest page. After I start scanning for hours on end, I do cheat and usually leave out the children's wear. So I'm sorry for you parents out there. I'm not the resource to come to for children's wear though, am I? If you really want it, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to put an extra effort to scan every single page next time. But thank you as always for watching today. I do have another of these Butterick pattern books that we can look at sometime in the future. This one is for the summer, however, so I will wait to go over some summer fashions once we are closer to spring and summer, I suppose. And I will see you all again here real soon. Bye.